In this video, we're going to be comparing all of the Vintage Collection Mandalorian figures that have been released so far. Hi there, Star Wars collectors. Welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. And in this video, as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be taking a look at all four of the Vintage Collection Mandalorian figures that we have so far. We're going to compare them all, and we're also going to try and attempt to place this head on these three figures here. Obviously, this head of Din Djarin comes with the Mandalorian build-up pack that you can see there, but we're going to attempt to try and put it on these three figures here. I know that's been requested in a lot of my reviews, so we're going to see if we can do that. Now, I just wanted to start off with the card backs first of all. Now, obviously, the first one that was released was the VC166, which is this one here. Yep, VC166. And this is probably my favourite of the four. So this is the first one we got. It's in his standard armour before he upgraded. And obviously he did have his Beskar helmet at that point, but no other part of him was Beskar. He obviously then got the shoulder pad done on his first job. And then when he managed to sort of exchange the child, or hand over the child, he was given all of that Beskar in that Kantomo there. And he obviously got the rest of his Beskar armour made. So this one is actually probably my favourite card. Well, it is definitely my favourite card back. And I'm struggling to decide whether it's still my favourite figure. I do like this armour, and I wish that he had stayed in that armour for a little bit longer in the show before upgrading. But anyway, that's VC166. Then, of course, we do have the carbonised version of that card back. Super shiny, really difficult to see in the light. There you go, you can see it there. And it has that sort of graphite sticker. And essentially this figure is exactly the same, but a complete repaint, but all shiny, and we'll come on to that in a minute. We also have VC181, which is the Beskar Mandalorian here, and yeah, half decent card back, nowhere near as good as VC166. And then of course we have VC177, which is the Mandalorian build-up pack, where obviously the figure is outstanding, but the card back there is terrible. It's out of focus, and yeah, it's just not great at all. But they're the card backs. But I did want to just sort of compare the figures really, so we're going to zoom in and compare the figures and then see if we can do that head swap. Alright, so here is all four figures a bit more close up. Obviously this VC166 was the first one that we got in his standard armour, looking very, very cool there. As I mentioned before, with the Beskar helmet. And I did just want to compare these two here. So we've got the carbonised figure, which I really do not like. But the main thing I wanted to compare was the helmets, because I don't think they've treated the helmet all that much with carbonisation. As you can see, they look pretty similar to me. Because obviously this one already had a Beskar helmet. So the helmet hasn't had really too much treatment. The treatment of the carbonisation is the rest of the figure, and to me it looks bad. I can understand when they do maybe metal parts of his armor, but to have his trousers like that, even the other figures where they've done the carbonisation and they've done the sort of material parts of their outfit, I really don't like that. For example, the Cara Dune figure, it looks like she's got disco pants to me. They shouldn't be all shiny. I can understand the armour on the, shoulder plates and all that, but his trousers just look, they're bordering on ridiculous for me. So those are those two compared. Exactly the same figure. Now if we move on to comparing the Beskar to the standard. And as you can see, there are parts of the armour which have been completely changed, new sculpts. So the shoulder pads, obviously, his gauntlets are slightly different, all upgraded with the whistling birds there, as you can see. He does have the Mudhorn logo on his shoulder pad there. But in the main, the actual sort of sculpt of his outfit underneath those plates is the same. You can see his leg piece there is exactly the same with those sort of bullets. His boots are exactly the same. This piece here is different. It's a different sculpt. It's got that line down the centre. And then if we look at the backs, The cape is a different colour, but it's the same sculpt. And obviously the rifles are all the same on each figure. Slightly different paint apps on each one, but yeah, you can really see that the back of the leg there is exactly the same sculpt. It's just the armour pieces that they've changed, obviously, when he's upgraded his armour. Now, the thing that I did want to mention about the Beskar one, which is what I did mention in the review, is that the helmet and the armour, for me, is too shiny. It's too silver. This helmet here is supposed to be a Beskar helmet. He never had that upgraded in the show. So for there to be such a stark difference, for me, I would have preferred it in between the two to represent the upgrade to Beskar. This one possibly might be a little bit too dark, but you can really see the difference there. Now, of course, this one, the one that came with the child figure, is just a complete repaint of this one. Or this one's a complete repaint of this one, whichever way round you want to do. This one actually is a later VC number, but of course this one has just got all the battle damage on there. The helmets, I would say that this helmet is slightly darker, so maybe this is the one that you would go for. Of course, we've got the scorch marks on it and everything, but yeah, I still think that this one here, the most recent Beskar Mandalorian, is just ever so slightly too shiny. And that's probably why I prefer this figure as a whole. You know, the battle damage kind of disguises how shiny it is, but the sculpt is exactly the same in every single way. All the pieces are exactly the same. Now, what I would say about my build-up pack one is the one I reviewed I gave to my son, but this one I've got a bit of a defect on mine. So you can see the little mudhorn insignia on that shoulder piece. What they've done is they've given me the same shoulder piece for this arm on this arm, but they've placed it the wrong way round. And you can see there that it doesn't actually fit properly on his shoulder, which is a bit of a shame, really. Yeah, so mine's defected in that way. It's funny because the paint apps are exactly the same. The scorch marks are exactly the same. It's just they've just got the piece on the wrong shoulder. Both the Beskar Mandalorian and the build-up pack one come with jetpacks, which are exactly the same. And of course the rifles are all the same as well. You know, the paint might differ very, very slightly on each one, but essentially they're the same. Now, of course, we do know that this head, which is an exceptional head sculpt, by the way, I've mentioned that in my review, so good, much better than the Black Series. We know it fits on this guy, but we want to look and see what it looks like on this guy, for example, because we do know, spoiler alert, at the end of season 2, he has his full Beskar without all the scorch marks, and he does take his helmet off. So let's just see if we can do that. So we'll try and lob this head off. There we go. It's got that little ball in there. And we're hoping that this just pops on. There we go. He has a slightly shorter haircut, I feel, in the end scene than he does here. He changed his hair ever so slightly. But it still looks pretty cool. So all the people that were in my comments section when I reviewed this figure were asking, you know, can the head fit on all the other Mandalorians? So it fits on the Beskar, which is obvious because it's exactly the same figure. It's just a repaint. But let's see what it looks like on the original armour. Now, obviously, this is something that never happens in the show. So you never actually get to see him in this armour and with the helmet off. But it still would be good to see, I feel. So there you go, little ball joint in there. And let's place the head on there like that. Not too bad. Looks pretty good. It looks a bit odd because, as I say, you never actually see that in the show when he's in his, you know, the armour that he starts the show in. You never actually see him with the helmet off. So it does look a bit odd. But it does fit for all those people out there that are wondering. And of course it's going to fit on the Carbonised Mandalorian because obviously that's exactly the same figure as this one. So I think that's what a lot of people wanted to see. did this head fit on this body? And it does. So there you go then. There is all 4 of the Mandalorian figures for the Vintage Collection. On the very left here you have the carbonised figure. Then you have the original VC166 in his old armour. You then have the new Beskar Mandalorian there, which I think is a little bit too shiny. And then you have the Mandalorian build-up pack, VC177, with all his battle damage and the inclusion of the child. So I hope you've enjoyed that comparison. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching this video as per usual, and we shall see you on the next one.